Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about how the Carnotaurus in Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park was able to camouflage. So, in the second book in the Jurassic Park series, we're first introduced to a mysterious dinosaur species that's been terrorizing Isla Sorna. This animal isn't physically seen until the end of the Lost World novel, but when it does get revealed, it's given a pretty remarkable attribute that joins the ranks of the spitting Dilophosaur's abilities in the first JP book. During Thorne's hunt for gasoline in the worker village, Crichton gives us a pair of InGen's Carnotaurus that are currently stalking their way through the abandoned buildings of Site B. This comes long after they'd already claimed their first victim, a guide by the name of Diego who was ambushed by the same type of dinosaurs earlier when Dr. Levine first arrived on Sorna. Now, in this particular story, the Carnotaurus are given the ability to camouflage, and the way that it's been described for these animals to have this ability was through their usage of chromatophores, which are used in the same way that a chameleon is able to change its appearance. Earlier in the book, Richard Levine had taken a small sample of skin from a dinosaur carcass that had washed up on the Costa Rican mainland, and from here he was first able to observe these chromatophores in InGen's clones. Dr. Levine's initial assessment of the Costa Rican carcass was that it belonged to an Ornitholestes, although some fans believe this classification to be wrong due to the Carnos later being revealed as having that camouflaging ability. I do want to point out though that Levine specifically describes the animal as having hollowed out eye sockets, rows of sharp predatory teeth, and, this is the important part, a long pointed snout, the latter of which is most certainly not an attribute of the Carnotaurus. And by the way, that wouldn't be the only time camouflaging abilities would be featured in the Jurassic Park novels, because way back in the first Jurassic Park book on Isla Nublar, a wild male velociraptor by the name of Clarence possessed the ability to change its skin color as well. Now, in the books, Michael Crichton explains that the reason that some of the dinosaur species were able to begin breeding was due to them all being created with amphibian DNA. Since Dr. Wu treated all DNA as non-important fragmentary assisters in creating his dinosaurs, frog DNA went into lots of different animals that they'd made. But this wouldn't be the only DNA that InGen would use in the books. In Jurassic Park, we also learned that Dr. Wu had used both avian and reptilian DNA in order to create John Hammond's animals. And since these chromatophores are brought up in not one, but a total of 3 possible species in Crichton's novels, it's very likely that this attribute was a byproduct of the hybridization of fragmentary DNA. Although I would understand if someone wanted to support the theory that the Carnotaurus in particular were supposed to have this ability from their fossilized counterparts in the novel canon. I wouldn't agree with it, but I'd understand. I think what makes InGen's Carnotaurs so special in the novel canon is the fact that they're given this sort of weird alien ability to cloak that we don't really get to see in many of the other animals. A lot of Jurassic Park's dinosaurs were pretty accurate, or at least very accurate to what we know of them from the paleontological record. But every once in a while, Crichton would throw a science fiction curveball like hermaphroditic behavior, spitting venom, and camouflage to the readers in order to make a point that we really don't know what we're doing with this sort of science. That sort of stuff is extremely important to Jurassic Park's image in my opinion. The mixing of DNA, fragmentary aspects of different animals being combined for a new life form, all of that stuff is great, and once you lose that aspect of the franchise, you risk becoming nothing more than a run-of-the-mill story about regular dinosaurs. And I personally think the series is way better than that. With that being said, most of the evidence that's been put forth in the Jurassic Park books tells us that InGen had created more than one species of dinosaur that could change the color of their skin. The first known animal was the wild velociraptor. The second was the presumed Ornitholestes that Levine found on the mainland, and the third was the Carnotaurus population that lived on Isla Sorna. Chromatophores are how we know they were able to use this ability in life, and Dr. Wu's flippant usage of various different animal DNA types can be attributed to why so many dinosaurs had this ability. Just like the explanation for why the dinosaurs were breeding and why the Dilophosaurus is able to spit venom in the Jurassic World ride, the Carnotaurus were more than likely gifted this ability through genetic manipulation, and not necessarily real-life paleontological science. If you've enjoyed some of these exceptionally awesome pictures of the Carno that I've used in the video, please be sure to check out Arturo Garcia's Instagram in the description. He's the one that did this art for me, just like the previous juvenile T-Rex and Excavaraptor videos, and I really think he deserves all the credit that is due. Also, if any of you know who the artist is from the camouflaging image that I've used in the thumbnail, please let me know in the comments down below. I have seen this piece of art on the internet for years now, and I have not been able to trace the source at all. I know it's been used in a lot of videos out there without proper citation or anything, and I just want to actually let the guy that made such an iconic looking piece get credit. So if you know the person that did it, or if you are that person yourself, please let us know. Now, as always, this video wouldn't be possible without the support of my awesome game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Their continued support has really been a lot of help to me when making this stuff, and I never want them to ever forget it. So a big thank you to each and every one of you for watching this video. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in seeing me again. I'll see you all in the next one, guys, and as always, take it easy.